Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, start with Jack. Jack and Abby. So, Jack he's feeling a lot of emotions, okay? He's sad about what he did to Abigail because of Gwen's lies, and he is mad at Gwen for all the lies that she did and the fact that he believed her. So he's pissed off. And he's practically like, yo, listen, I don't want any, he's like, I'm going to love her, but I'm not going to sit there and try to make her part of this family. Like, she's had way too many chances. Like, I'm done with her. And, at this point, even Abigail's like, why don't you give her another chance? Because she started realizing, like she understood her headspace and how things spiraled out of control, and she practically was like, listen, if Gwen would have got a chance to talk to Chad instead of talking to me, we may not even be going down this road. So at the very least, maybe you should sit there and give her another chance. But he practically was like, nope, not doing that. He's like, he's done. Now, on the other side of town, you got Gwen. On the other side of town, you got Xander, and you have, and Gwen. And she is sad. She's heartbroken. And, part of me wants to feel sorry for her because, that sucked. Her lies blew up in her face, and this is the result of all of it. On the other hand, I'm just like, you kind of put yourself in the situation, Bo. So you got you got nobody to blame for you feeling this way other than yourself. She also finds out that Xander, gave up his $1 million, because Melinda knew about her dirty little secret. So in order to keep her mouth shut, he gave up the money. Which sucks because, even Gwen realizes, like, yo, he did this for me, and my secret got exposed anyway. And now he's out of $1 million because of me. So she just feels terrible. Because she's like, what is she planning on doing with this money? Like, she can't do that. What is she planning on doing with this money? And, even Xander was like, well, she plans on using it to help, illegal, undocumented, immigrants. And, even at that point, she was like, she's really not going to use the money. Is she really going to use the money for that? Does she sound like you? Because she even knew, like, it's much better for her to be using that money on something good like that, as opposed to him just wasting it on a vacation. Compared to what she's going to be doing with the money. At this point, I was like, yo, listen. How even Xander was like, it's not like, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into making this money. I'll make, I'll get another $100, another $1 million, like, whatever. But towards the end of the episode, you see Gwen come into Melinda's office, and, the minute she walks in the room, Melinda's like, what do you want? It's just like, I already had a day. I don't feel like, what do you want? And, Gwen is all like, oh, well, you're going to have to give back Xander his money. I'm like, why? Besides the fact that, it's his, but, like, why? so y'all can use it on globetrotting and spending it on vacation and ski trips and stuff. Like, no. The money is better in her hands because it's not like she's going to use it on herself. Like, as opposed to your vacation in the tropics or whatever. But, she just kind of stands there. She was like, oh, well, you're going to give back this money and here's how you're going to do it or the reason why, whatever. And she's just like, all right, what you got? Now earlier, Melinda made a deal with Jake to go free. She was like, listen, if you testify against Philip that he tried to blackmail you, one second, that he tried to blackmail you, you can go off the hook. And even Gabby was like, you're doing that to neutralize Victor, because Victor kind of more or less kind of screwed her on the deal, like altered the deal or whatever. So she's like, all right, at least I can sit there and get back at his son. So Gabby was like, well, I don't exactly remember what Gabby said, but Jake took the deal. Jake took the deal, and so Jake walked on the conditions that he would testify against Philip for the blackmail. Now, as she's Jake is leaving, Ava comes in there, and Ava and Gabby has some words or whatever. One second. They exchange some words or whatever, and then Ava sees Melinda. And Ava decides to renege on her original statement. And she's like, yeah, I killed him, But it was in self-defense, though. So, I didn't really, it wasn't really my choice. The guy was going to kill me. Do you not see my neck? Oh, I guess the marks kind of disappeared. But, the point was, he was going to kill me. So, at that point, you see Gabby and Jake back at Ray's place. And so they're just kind of chilling or whatever, just kind of just glad that they got out of, that he's free and everything like that, even though they don't got a job. At least they got Gabby shaking. They could sit there and find another person to, run a company. Or, help run the company. So just as they're celebrating and they're in the living room making out or whatever, not like Rafe, come on. I don't understand how they just do that right in his kitchen. It's like, you honestly think that he wants to sit there and see his sister make out with a guy that, he doesn't want to see that in general, but also make out with a guy who he feels isn't good for Gabby. But of course, Ava just strolls right on in and just, makes in wisecracks like, oh, you guys go like bunnies or whatever. And, I don't know what kind of deal she cut with, with Melinda. But whatever it was enough to sit there and get her out of lockup. Get her out of lockup and back, in Ray's place, which is kind of ironic because, I know that she was, when she was being questioned by Rafe, she was like, oh, he's acting kind of cold, kind of different or whatever, like what's going on. But maybe you should just do it like he was in cop mode. My whole thing is like, man, I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait to Rafe sees Ava just kind of just hanging out, cooking in the kitchen like it's just another Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon, or whatever. So I can't wait for that to happen. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really not liking this whole Philip thinks that, Chloe cheated on him with Brady because he overheard some conversation, even though it wasn't the exact, he overheard something and thought it was, them cheating, even though it wasn't the fact that, I'm not explaining this right. The point is, he overheard the wrong information, and in reality, Brady was there saying, oh, yeah, we can't sit there and tell anyone about our sex or whatever on the table or whatever. So him just misinformation. I was not exactly a fan of that, but he is pissed. To the point where he literally breaks the glass. So Victor comes in there, and he's like, the hell is broken glass doing or whatever? And, Philip walks back in, and he's like, oh, yeah, somebody's going to come and clean that up. And that's when Victor's like, why don't you just clean up your own mess? He's like, when are you going to clean up your own mess? He's mad at him because, he's working, he found out that he's working with Ava and that he's sitting there trying to blackmail um, Jake and Gabby into getting control of Gabby Sheik, so this way Ava could run the company. And, after he calls, Philip a moron a couple of times, Philip was like, listen, I did that because I had to. Like, I had to do that, They were snitching trying to oust me, and this is what I had to sit there and do. I didn't see any other way. And that's when Victor was like, yeah, there was another way. You should have came to me. Instead, you didn't. And at this point, he gets so mad at him. He was like, yo, you know what? You're fired. And when he said you're fired, I was like, here's more. Okay, that's fine. You're fired. What? I'm not going to lie. I was surprised that he actually did that. That he actually fired his son. And then he starts talking, because they're talking about Chloe and everything like that. And, at this point, Philip is upset because Philip was like, first he took my girl. Now he's taking my company. Because when he started running down the list of people that can be potentially taking over the company, Xander is not one of them. Justin is on his honeymoon and he's married to Bonnie, so I don't really see that happening. So the only other candidate is Brady. Now, later throughout towards the end of the episode, you see Philip going back to the the garden where him and Chloe planted their new tree, and he's still sitting there thinking about the possibility that, in his mind, the reality that Chloe cheated on him with Brady. And he gets so upset that he takes the tree, whatever that was gonna be, into the ground. He just rips it out and just throws it, and he just gets all angry. He's like, "Urgh." I'm like, I know I'm supposed to take that seriously, but I can't do it. I can't do it. I took it more seriously when he broke the glass, because it just showed this real anger. When he went towards the tree and just ripped it out of the ground, just threw it, I was like, I don't really know what to say to that. I really don't. Also, the fact that he could have cut his hand on the glass is what I was like, damn, he was so angry that this dude practically cut his hand because he was that pissed off, at the whole cheating thing, which, again, it didn't happen. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of stupid. And speaking of that, you got Brady and Chloe talking. And, Brady gets a text from Kristen's lawyer saying that, she wants to see him, and now he's all like, I don't think it's a good idea, because, she's kind of like an addiction, and I'm not, I'm trying to stay sober, and also sitting there thinking about how he's going to sit there and tell his little girl that, Kristen isn't, Kristen did sit there, in his eyes, try to kidnap Rachel. Now, of course, Kristen said that she was just going to take her out for a little special, mother-daughter time. And to be honest, here's the thing. I really do feel that she might have actually done that. Here's the thing. When Kristen was on the run, Kristen didn't want her daughter to be on the run with her. She wanted her to have some semblance to normalcy or whatever. So that's why, Brady, she left her with Brady or whatever. That's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming that she didn't want her daughter on the run with her. And if that's the case, then why would she come, when she comes back to town, she wants to take Rachel on the run. Like, what? I don't know. Anyway, he's sitting there trying to come to terms with how he's going to sit there and tell his daughter that, Kristen, she's in jail for some really bad stuff, and she isn't, the fairy tale that Brady, I guess, tries to tell her, or that she, her daughter has in her eyes. So, talks to Chloe, feels a lot better. There's one point where, they're sitting down or whatever, and, thank you and stuff like that, and I guess they must touch each other's knees or hands or whatever. Now, I thought that while they were doing that Philip was going to walk right on in and just go ballistic. Also, Philip did sit there and say, he wants to watch his, he wants, Victor to watch his, company burn down to the ground. So I'm sitting there thinking, Maybe he's that tight and sitting there doing that right then and there. That he's literally sitting there trying to set the building on fire, but I don't know. I don't know if I said this, but towards the end of the episode, Xander comes and pays Jack a visit because he's not he wants to sit there and try to repair the relationship between Gwen and Jack. He's like, all right, Jack, I get it. When he was sitting there talking to Gwen, he was like, he's upset right now. He's really angry, but when he calms down, he starts to sit there and have a bit of reasoning. He'll realize that he made a mistake. So he goes over there, sit there and try to talk some sense into him. And that's pretty much where it ends off at. Again, it's one of those things where it's like, Gwen is like all, happy that, Xander is sitting there going all out and just really being there for her when no one else in town is doing that. But I'm like, you did this to yourself. You literally did this to yourself. Because here's the thing, even if she wanted to originally make Abigail feel bad for her miscarriage, the minute that sleazy Snyder was, well, I wouldn't say, yeah, he's a sleazebag because he's using what happened to Gwen, a tragedy, as a way to help his business, But, yeah, she should, right when he was trying to blackmail her, she should have told the truth. I mean, it wasn't that far apart from the blackmailing to the miscarriage and her going. Her leaving Salem. So she could have been squashed that and wouldn't be in the position that she's in now. So as hard as it is to sit there and be like, I want to feel bad for you because of the stuff that he was saying, the hurt on his face, the hurt on her face, I'm like, boy, you did this to yourself. So I feel like that's about it for the most part. If I forgot anything, please write down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. See you in the next video.